Hey fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Today I wanted to talk about the Yonex Ezone 100. I talked about the 98. I thought the 98 was a clear improvement over the predecessor thanks to improved control, a little bit better feel in my opinion, but overall the feeling was that I had more confidence in my shots. I think the 100 is more of the same. It's pretty much a similar experience to the 98, but more of everything. You're getting it more power, more spin, bigger sweet spot, but obviously not the same precision because it's a bigger head size, going to give you a bit more power. But overall, a very nice stick, the best Ezone 100 I've played with so far. Let's have a look at the specs. I was supposed to string this racket with a full bed of Polytour Pro 125, a new blue color that they're releasing. I know there's a previous blue, but this is a different blue that's coming with the racket. When I was about to string the crosses, the string snapped because my machine broke. So I had strung the second half when I managed to fix the machine, probably temporarily, with Tourline Caviar. So that's the string setup, Polytour Pro and Tourline Caviar. This brought up my strung racket to a 310 swing weight. 32.4 centimeter balance, which is around 5 points headlight, and a 317 gram strung weight. But the unstrung specs, let's have a brief look through those. 100 square inches, obviously 27-inch length, that's the standard. It's 300 grams unstrung, has a balance of 4 points headlight with strings and around 6-7 point headlights without strings. The swing weight listed from Tennis Warehouse was 317, so mine was a little bit under spec. Yonex are pretty good at quality control when it comes to weight and balance, but the swing weight has been slipping a little bit. So 310 to 317 depends on the string as well, so it's not a horrible spec. And I think for most players, 310 is fine to play with. And if you need to bump up the swing weight, you can always add a little bit of weight in the hoop using lead tape, for example. Stiffness is reduced, so from previous edition I think was 69. You shouldn't look too much into stiffness, it's one of the important factors, but 67 is relatively soft for this type of frame. Usually these power frames have a pretty high stiffness around 70, so that's a good thing, I would say. The beam width is slightly thicker. I do feel like the racket is a bit more stable despite being less stiff, which is interesting. So 23.8 millimeter, 26.5 millimeter and 22.5 millimeter. So a slightly different beam thickness throughout the beam there. The composition is 2G NAMD speed, which is the new layup, and HM high modulus graphite, that's standard. And it comes in a 16-19 string pattern. So it's pretty standard frame for like a power racket. You might look at the Pure Drive, which this one plays similar to, but it's more comfortable in my opinion. You might look at an Instinct from Head that's going out, I think. The Boom offers less power than this one. The Boom is a little bit more towards kind of control power frame. So it's like a less powerful power frame. Easy to use, but less powerful. This one is full of power and as kind of high as you go with a 100 square inch frame. If you want to move to oversized frames, you get more power, of course. So the Ezone 100 is going to lead the pack of 300 gram 100 square inch rackets in many ways, because it does give you very good power. Comfort is very good, I must say. I haven't felt anything playing with this setup. Full poly, and no issues with the arm. It seems well dampened thanks to the VDM tech in the handle probably. They seem to do pretty decent dampening, Yonex. I mean, I did have a problem with the Ezone Tour from the previous generation, but both the 98 and the 100 both feel great. So thumbs up for the comfort level. And overall, I like this racket from the back of the court. It's not my typical racket. I prefer the 98, more control, a little bit whippier through the air. This one is better for players who want free depth, maybe generate a bit more topspin naturally than I do, for example. And then it can be a great frame. And if you like extended frames, Yonex will likely offer these both in extended versions coming up later on. So stay tuned for that. The Ezone 98 Plus and 100 Plus are favorites among players that like extended frames. But there are not really big knocks on this one. I mean, I'm not super connected to the feel. It's a little bit muted. That's an issue I have with some Yonex frames. Maybe it's the VDM. It feels like I'm not as connected to the string bed, which is a matter of taste. Some players don't mind this feeling. Some players love a sound or a feel or something, and it's very personal. In my opinion, for me, this is not my favorite feel, but it like I say, it's completely personal. That's why you should always demo a racket before you buy it if you can. I think that makes a lot of sense. And if you buy a racket you don't like it, you can always trade it or sell it on the used racket market. There's usually plenty of folks who are unhappy with their racket purchase and they want to trade or sell or buy. So you're not stuck with one racket that you don't like. So overall, a little bit dampened. Didn't get quite the power on serve that I was expecting, that I can get with the Pure Drive. For some reason, I didn't get anything free. There, I think the Vavalots are generally better after kind of the serve power, both the arrow and the drive, for whatever reason. But in many ways, this racket played really nicely, and it should be looked at for anyone who wants a 100 square inch 300 gram unstrung racket with plenty of power. It's a power frame. It's going to give you lots of extra depth without really harming your arm, as far as I've noticed. So if you have tennis elbow, I would still not recommend these kind of frames. But if you don't have any issues, I wouldn't think that this will bring you any unless you string too high of tension or with a stiffer string and so on. Thumbs up, it's an improvement for sure. Great on ground is, good slice, decent on serve. Not top-notch on feel, but that's a personal preference thing. And yeah, it's pretty much all there for you who like power rackets. And it's one of the best on the market, I'm pretty sure to say that. Many of them do give you some arm discomfort. This one doesn't seem to do that. Seems very well dampened, solid, great on the volleys. I felt that about the 98 and the 100. I did miss a little bit of power on serve on both these rackets. That would be my main issue with them. That's pretty much it for this one. First impressions, if I find out something else, if I try the frame more and figure something out, I will update this review, of course. And keen to hear now what you think. Most players who have tried this, Valiant, for example, he enjoyed it quite a bit. But it was not like outstandingly good. When I hand rackets out to players I hit with, I sometimes get like, well, wow, and I sometimes get like, ah, good, you know, or I didn't like this. You get these kind of statements. They're not professional racket testers or whatever, but they do test frames and they do have a clear idea what they like and don't like. This one wasn't like a super strong winner among the guys who tried it, but it still seems, but I still think it will have a strong audience out there among Yonex lovers, and the Ezone is the easiest to use racket in the whole Yonex series of frames. So, and I do prefer it over the V-Core 100. Personally, I think this one suits me better, a bit more flatter trajectory, a bit more control over the V-Core 100, in my opinion. Okay, that's it. I hope you found this review useful. If you do, please support me on Patreon, patreon.com/tennisnerd, or at least subscribe to the channel, and that's free and easy. Also, if you want to buy this racket or any other racket or string or shoe or balls, check out Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, and Tennis Only. My affiliates are in the description. Just click the links there. And if you buy something, I get a small commission. Big thanks for that. That is all. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.